Hello and welcome to the Gather Round Injuries. In this video I'll highlight all the injuries that I was able to see or anything that's been reported as of today. And so in this first clip you can see Brad Hill has a shin on shin injury by the looks of it. He does draw some blood there from the slow-mo, and when he starts to walk it looks like it's going to be a pretty bad injury. But overall he did look a little bit proppy when he came back, but he did play the rest of the game. So I think he should be fine. Just might be one of those things where he's going to be a little bit sore and possible bruising throughout the week. Charlie Curnow rolled his ankle and it did look pretty bad. He spent a fair bit of time on the ground and didn't get in for the next marking contest. From some of the replays that were on Fox Footy, it did look like it would have been quite sore, but he was able to play the rest of the game and he was still kicking goals, so I think he should be fine next week. It's probably just one of those things where you just quickly roll your ankle and it's quite sore and tender for a little bit, but if you keep it warm and keep playing on it, it's usually okay. Elijah Holland was subbed out in the third quarter from what looked to be a hip or a groin injury. After McGovern gives his teammate a blocking bump, he actually hits his face on the defender's shoulder, and it looks like he's actually chipped a tooth or possibly even lost a tooth. As you can see, he takes his mouth guard out and he actually spits out either a chipped tooth or a full tooth. Ouch. It looks like Patrick Parnell has dislocated his shoulder for something that doesn't actually look really that bad, but you can see that his shoulder is heavily strapped, so it was already an existing issue. And as he's lunged to try and push Cozzy out of the contest, it looks like he's dislocated his shoulder or at least injured it again. I doubt he will be available next week. Scott Pendlebury copped a knee in the back, and after this he actually went down to the rooms and was eventually subbed out of the game. Kennedy goes in for the marking contest and he lands his knee right in the back of Ryan Marrick's lower back. In the end, we actually find out that he's got some cracked ribs, I think it was, and a collapsed lung. He was eventually taken to hospital, so he definitely won't be available for quite a few weeks after this incident. Friendly fire. As the commentator said, not very friendly. Stevens from North Melbourne was eventually subbed out after this hit. It looked legal to me, so I don't think Callum Archie has any issues with this one. It was just a fierce contest, and unfortunately Stevens came second best and he was subbed out. No footage of this one, but Dow from Richmond has been subbed out of the game after he injured his ankle. It looked like he rolled it from what the commentators were saying, and yeah, eventually was subbed out, so he will probably be missing next week as well, I would imagine. Travis Boak was eventually subbed out after taking this hit in the lower back from a tackle. Didn't look too bad. You see this sort of tackle in pretty much every single game, but for some reason this was a little bit too much depending on the way they landed or whatever, but eventually Boak was subbed out. From this first camera angle, it actually looks really bad. Zack Jones lands very heavily. He did play the rest of the game, so I think he was okay. From the different camera angle, you see that this was a total legal marking contest. I think McIntosh just misjudged the ball where it was going to be. Zack Jones is able to get both his hands out, so I think he is fine, and I think McIntosh is also fine for this. Just the way he landed, it looked like that would have really hurt. Archie Perkins from Essendon has also been subbed out during the game there with ice on his hamstring, so depending on what the scans show later in the week will depend on his time out. And that's it for this week for the injuries that I could see. Let me know below if I missed anything. And as always, if you do like these series of injuries, suspensions and oddities, please do subscribe. It helps me push these videos out to more people. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.